This is one of the highest rated travel backpacks on Amazon. Let's talk about it. What's up, good people of the internet? I'm John, and this is UnPack'D, the place where we unpack all the details about your favorite bags, EDC, and travel related gear. And I'm back with another travel backpack. And like I mentioned in the intro, this is one of the highest rated backpacks on Amazon, travel backpacks that is. This is the Tomtoc T66 travel backpack, 40 liter. Now, if you're new to this channel, we're going to do a full run through of the bag, give you all the specs, the dimensions. We're going to do a full walkthrough of the exterior and the interior features. I will load the bag up as if I was going to travel with it. I will try it on for you so you can get a range and see, gauge for yourself on what it would look like. And I will give you my final thoughts after I've been testing this for the last 2 weeks. I'll give you my thoughts on what I thought about this Tomtoc T66 travel backpack. So if you're unfamiliar with Tomtoc, they've been changing the game in the past couple of years. They're producing some of the most high quality, affordable gear, not just travel, but daily carry, tech organizers, passport holders, you name it. If it is related to EDC or travel, Tomtoc has something in that range, even slings. And if you've done any kind of browsing on Amazon for travel equipment, you've sure come across Tomtoc. And when I was looking at this particular bag on Amazon and I was scrolling through the reviews, this particular bag had over 2,400 reviews with a 4.7 rating on Amazon. And if you're anything like me, probably are, that's why you're watching this video, sometimes you can't really trust those Amazon reviews, so you rely on YouTube. I know that I'm the exact same way. If I see something that's really highly rated, I always go to YouTube to get some on-hand experience from somebody who's actually tested it and reviewed the bag, like I have been doing over the last couple of weeks with this travel backpack. So the rundown on this bag, it's going to be a 40 liter capacity. It's going to be available in 2 colors, the black you see in front of you, and there's also a gray option. It's also available in 2 different sizes, the 40 liter, which I have here, and a 28 liter. The overall dimensions of the bag are going to be 20 inches tall, 14 inches across, with a depth of 9 inches. The MSRP on this bag is $81.99, but you can expect to pay somewhere in the range of about $73 due to coupons and promotions that are always seem to be running around this bag. So I would try to look for something in that $73 range. If you do see it higher somewhere, double check with Amazon. Again, that's one of the great features of this bag. It's easily picked up on Amazon. Most of us have Prime, so that's going to be an easy 2-day delivery for you. The listed weight for this bag is 2.6 pounds. When I tested it on my shipping scale, I came with 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So slightly heavier than the listed weight, but weight that you're not going to feel. The external material used on this bag isn't quite listed by Tomtoc. It's just listed as a recycled material, but having some experience with a couple of bags in my day, it's not quite a 1050D, real stiff. It's more like maybe like a 1680D. And what that means in plain English is that this material is going to be very water resistant and extremely resistant to pet hair, dust, lint, dander, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what you want to see in a travel backpack, because this thing's going to be tossed into overhead bins. It's going to be tossed on the floor, trunks, trains, when you name it. You want something that's going to be easily clean, nothing that's going to attract a lot of dirt and dust and dander. So this is a great choice for a backpack that's specifically aimed for travel, and something that, it's a pretty good option, something you want to see. So some of the external features you're going to see on this backpack is going to have just 2 external pockets. You're going to have this front pocket up front here, which, even though you think it would run this entire length, it's actually only from here to about right here. So it's going to be this area right here. So it's not that entire front pocket, and it's pretty shallow. It doesn't have a lot of depth or dimension to it. So depending on how you pack the inside is going to affect how the usability and what you can pack on the outside here. The other external pocket is going to be this quick access pocket at the top. Again, it's going to be not a lot of volume. It's going to be dependent on how you pack the bag, but it's going to be, see if I can get that on the top camera, this top square section at the top. So it's considerable in size, but again, because it doesn't have any dedicated volume, it's going to be really dependent on how you pack the inside of the bag. The bag is equipped with 4 compression straps, 2 on each side. That's going to allow you to cinch the bag down tight when it's not fully packed out. Now, this bag is listed as a carry-on backpack by Tomtoc, so they're not saying you're going to be able to squeeze this under your seat, but we'll put that to the test a little bit later. But to be fair, they market this bag as a carry-on backpack. You're going to have 2 handles, one on the top here. It's padded, but it feels real spongy like the shoulder straps. It's kind of that same material. As you can see here, it's not very structured. but it's going to be padded and something you can easily hold on to. It's not going to hurt your hand or dig into your hand if you have to hold it from the top handle for a prolonged period of time. You know, it's a decent handle, not the best, but it's a decent handle. You are going to have another side grab handle to grab from the side. Now this one has a little bit of padding, very minimal. This is going to be more to help you pull the bag out from, you know, an overhead bin or from the outside of a trunk of a car. Not really so much to carry. Can you carry it from this handle? Absolutely, but just know that it's nothing compared to the top handle. It doesn't have that same kind of padding. The bag is equipped with water bottle pockets on each side that are held in by some elastic here, so it keeps the bag nice and flush when not in use. Along the back panel, you're going to see what Tomtoc is calling their 3D back panel, and you can see it's 3D because of that foam that's protruding out here. Now, during my testing, I was a little suspicious of the foam, but I can honestly tell you that it is quite comfortable, and you can really feel that 3D pocketing. You can feel the bag come off of your back, and these air channels that it has here, it does allow some pretty good breathability. I was really impressed with this whole harness system and back panel, which I'll explain more later on when I get into what I liked and didn't like about the bag. And as you can see here in these air channels, you do have a luggage pass-through. If you want to accompany this with some roller luggage, it can easily slide on to your roller luggage handle that way. On the shoulder straps, you are going to have that same heavy-duty foam in here. Now, it's not quite an EVA foam. I don't know what they're using. It feels like it's more of a spongy material. Now, there's pros and cons to PU sponge and EVA foam. This one feels more like PU sponge. What that's going to mean for you is that it's going to be comfortable and soft right off the gate. You know, EVA foam has a little bit of a break-in period before it feels, you know, supple. You can easily feel how comfortable the foam is when this pack is underweight right out of the gate. No break-in period necessary with this particular bag. Also, along the front of the shoulder straps here, you are going to have a sternum strap that is not removable. So that's a peculiar choice by Tomtoc, but yes, it's adjustable, but you can't take it off. You are going to have one latch point up here up the front. You can clip some equipment on or stick your sunglasses right there for easy access. So you get one on one side there, nothing on the other side, but that's a pretty cool little feature, you know, if you want to clip something on your shoulder straps. Now, Tomtoc is always known for using some of the best hardware in the game, and this is no exception. They are using YKK woven-in zippers. Now, what does that mean? These woven-in zippers are supposed to be, you know, tougher than the standard YKK zippers. Now, YKK is known as the best zippers in the game. That's kind of like, you know, everybody agrees on that. I've never had problems with YKK zippers. They operate very smooth. Now, these woven ones are a little bit beefier because they are designed to be used on luggage. So being a travel backpack, and as somebody who has had about 2 zipper failures while on a trip, I can tell you there's nothing worse than when your zipper fails on a backpack, your zipper fails on a luggage. So when you're purchasing those items like luggage and travel gear, you do want to make sure that the zippers are quality. So seeing YKK is already a green flag. Seeing YKK woven zippers is even a better green flag to let you know that you can count on the zippers when you're out on your trip and they're not going to fail you. One bonus feature about the zippers is on the main compartment, they are lockable. They do have these little divots in them where you can easily put like a TSA approved lock right through the top. Strangely though, it's only on the tech compartment. So your main compartment just has regular zippers, not lockable, but your tech compartment where your laptop and other stuff would be, your iPad, that is going to be a little bit more secure. So what I have here is the most common personal sizer item box used by airlines. Not all airlines, but most of them use this size. Now again, Tomtoc doesn't list this as a personal item. It's clearly a carry-on, but just so you could see for yourself, if you're thinking about buying the 40 liter and you're going to try to squeeze it in under your seat or squeeze it past that stingy Spirit or Frontier gate agent, I'm going to demonstrate for you now how that would go for you. So as you can see, it's going to be a tough time trying to get this past the gate agent. Again, this is clearly listed as a carry-on. I just wanted to prove to you that if you're thinking about packing this bag out and shoving it under your seat, you may have a hard time getting away with that. Okay, so I have this packed out T66 Tomtoc travel backpack on. I am 5'10". You do have that sternum strap up front. And one thing to note here is I have this sternum strap completely maxed out. Now, I don't have the broadest of chests, so that if you have big shoulders or a big chest, maybe something to consider is this sternum strap is not removable or replaceable, and I have this thing fully maxed out. Now, fortunately for me, at this position is quite comfortable, but your results may vary. And again, you cannot remove or replace this sternum strap, so you may have to go without it if you have wider shoulders or a broader chest. Again, I am 5'10", and this is what the packed out Tomtoc T66 travel backpack looks like on me. It's easily adjustable here if you want to wear it. I tend to wear my bags high and tight as best as I can. You know, it's a big travel backpack, but I can honestly tell you that I was quite surprised with the overall packability and the comfortability of the harness. So I've tested backpacks and, you know, that are 5 times the cost of this one. And this was quite a pleasant surprise of how comfortable everything was. The bag does include some strap management, which I failed to mention. So you don't have to have these dangly straps here. It has web keepers here. You just slide that down and you get rid of the dangle real easy. And it also went on the sternum strap, but like I maxed it out, so I don't have nothing left to even, you know, keep in place by the web keeper. Okay, time to look at the internal features of this bag. So as you can see here, the backpack lays flat, and here's your zippers for your main opening. And you do have to remove the compression strap buckles in order to get the zipper all the way around. So that could be like a little nitpick that you may not find, you know, too user friendly. For me, it was not a very big issue. I'm used to dealing with way quirkier bags. So having to undo the buckles to get into the main compartment, not real big issue, just something to keep in mind that if you're going to be frequently in and out of the main compartment, the buckles could be a little annoying. But this bag is going to open around like a C shape here and open up like a duffel bag or a suitcase. So on the inside of this bag is just a big black hole. There's no internal organization. There's no pockets. There's nothing else. It's kind of just like a duffel bag with shoulder straps. There's nothing on the inside here. Now the material down on the inside feels real smooth, real slick. Something that would be easy to clean. Something that you would see on the inside of a luggage. It's that same type of material. Feels real nice, real soft. One feature that it is down at the bottom of this, hopefully you can see it here in the overhead cam, is it has this like flap. And what that flap's going to do is you can flip it up, and it's going to add a little bit of structure to that bottom piece of the backpack. So this bottom portion of the backpack is not padded at all. The only support or structure you're going to have is it has like a little flimsy sheet already in there, and you can flip up that second sheet to add a little bit more support, especially when you're packing it out in this big duffel style here. Now, if you do want to compress the bag down with the compression straps, you are going to want to, you know, flip that cardboard piece back down, and it will allow you to cinch the bag a little smaller. Now, moving over to the tech compartment, again, you do have those lockable zippers there, and this backpack opens up completely like a 180. Now, they say that's a feature for TSA. When you're going through, you can separate your, you know, inside packing from your tech compartment for TSA compliance. But my experience is if TSA wants you to take the laptop out of the bag, you're going to have to take the laptop out of the bag. So over here is your tech compartment. You have 2 sleeves. One in the back is for your laptop. It says it can fit up to most 17-inch devices. And up front, you have a smaller sleeve. You can easily fit your larger iPads and documents right in that front compartment. And you do have a little securing strap there, a little elastic. Again, you have some more of that smooth, you know, luggage interior type here. Real nice. Everything feels padded because of that back panel padding. So you do have a little bit of a padding. And the laptop compartment is suspended off the bottom about a good inch there. So that's a pretty good feature there. So when you put your bag down, you're not slamming directly onto your laptop. Now, there is no frame sheet, so it is kind of flimsy. But when you put your laptop and devices in there, it's going to provide a little bit of structure. Now, during my testing period, I did test it with and without a laptop. And I can honestly say that with a laptop, you can feel it in your backpack because it stiffens up the back because there is no frame sheet. But it wasn't uncomfortable by any means. And I also tested it without the laptop. Again, I found the harness system and the back panel to be perfectly comfortable both ways, with or without a laptop. On the opposite side here, you're just going to have one mesh pocket here. Again, you're using YKK zippers on the inside as well. One thing to note, that this is going to be best left to your flatter items, because if you put something bulky here and close it, it's going to be pushing up against your tech that you have here. Even though these sleeves are padded, you don't want stuff pushing directly against your laptop, you know, LCD screens and stuff like that. So it's best left to flatter items. You see these 2 red tabs at the top. They're for easy, quick pull away. So then you do that, and you can easily access the inside of your main compartment from the tech compartment. I don't know why that's a feature, but it is there. If you're in the tech compartment, you can easily access the main compartment without having to flip the bag and undo your buckles and all that stuff. So that it's an option there. I didn't really find this feature, completely usable for me, but your results may vary. Okay, let's pack this bag out and see what we can really fit in this bag. So for me, a backpack this size at 40 liters, I can easily pack for 7 days because I pack in like capsule wardrobes. But anyway, that could be a whole separate video. But just to give you some reference, there are no compression straps or luggage, type compression straps on the inside. But I have a Peak Design medium packing cube here, and I have about 4 days worth of outfits in that. We can put that right down at the bottom. And then up front on top of that, I have the medium with all the socks and underwears, again, for those 4 days. And I say 7 days because I usually do laundry when I travel. But as you can see, the medium and small Peak Design packing cubes fit in there just perfect. I like to take a different pair of shoes when I travel. I don't like to take just one pair of shoes. So in this shoe pouch here from Peak Design, I have size 12 men's trainers. That can go right at the bottom. As you can tell, we're pushing the limits here of this bag. I have my Tomtoc T12 Lite tech kit with all my cords, batteries, chargers, SD cards, everything in there. Keeping with the theme of Tomtoc, I do have the tech kit here. Place that in there. I have my Gravel Slim toiletry kit right up there. And to round out this main cavity here, I'll just pack a light jacket just in case I get cold right up top there. And that's pretty much going to fill it out there. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. I've had some other travel backpacks, many a travel backpack. That's how I got into this whole EDC and backpack game, was researching travel backpacks. The main cavity seems a little bit small for 40 liters. I fit this stuff in 30-liter bags, so there could be a little off measurements, or maybe Tomtoc's including some of the other stuff. Depending on the way you pack, your results may vary, but I was able to fit some of this stuff in some smaller bags, so maybe the main compartment itself is not 40 liters. So over here in the tech compartment, again, Tomtoc says that most 17-inch devices will fit. I don't have a 17-inch device. My personal device is a 13-inch MacBook Pro. But what I do have is this chunk of wood. And this chunk of wood is the same dimensions as a 16-inch MacBook Pro. So I introduce to you my 16-inch Woodbook Pro. And that, according to Tomtoc, should fit real easy in there because this is only 16 inches. So we'll put that right in the laptop sleeve. And it fits. But there's not much room left. Let's see if we can get a shot on the overhead cam. There's not much room left up at the top. So 17-inch device will probably fit, but it's just going to be very maxed out there at 17 inches. And this front compartment, I have a 10-inch iPad. That's going to fit in there, no problem. Again, this pocket is pretty oversized, so if you want to fit folders or some documents, it will easily fit in there as well. Again, you have this strap to lock everything in so your devices don't fall out. The bottom is suspended about 1 inch, so when you put your bag down, it's not going to slam into your devices. So this front pocket, because we have the main cavity pretty maxed out, as you can see, there's not a lot of depth, not a lot of volume in there. So and then I'll just put my Bellroy pencil pouch in there, pens, highlighters, stuff in there that I may need on my trip. That's going to be one of the better items to fit in there. You could try to squeeze in your chargers and cables and stuff in there, but I already have that loaded in the main cavity with my Tomtoc tech kit. So pencil pouch down in there, and that's going to round out my loadout for this section here. So you do have this front compartment here, and I did test, this Evergoods Cap 1 is a very popular pouch. You can fit the Evergoods Cap 1 in there. You just have to push it in and kind of turn it, and it will fit perfect in there. Also, what I would like to use this pocket for is just some snacks, because when I'm traveling, nobody wants to be around me when I'm hungry, so I always like to carry some snacks. Even though I do have the main compartment pretty packed out, as you can see, this is really maxing the bag out. So, be honest with you, I probably wouldn't carry that Cap 1. It's just some filming equipment, but I would just leave this pocket for snacks. Moving over to the top quick access pocket, again, it's a pretty decent size. And because of the volumes of the main compartments already filled out pretty well, it's going to be left to your flatter items. So your cell phone, 15-inch iPhone Pro Max, will fit perfect in there. Long ways, your sunglasses are gonna fit, your AirPods and your passport are all gonna fit in there just nice and easy. So easy access to your stuff while you're traveling. So I have this bag completely maxed out for a 7-day trip. Now your mileage may vary depending on how you pack, but as you can see, the bag is pretty chunky. Now the last thing left to test is the water bottle pockets. Now here's one thing that I discovered while testing the water bottle pockets. On this side here, I have a 32-ounce Nalgene, and that will fit snugly down in there. Now, as you can see from this water bottle pocket, there's not a lot of depth because this Nalgene is, kind of a little bit of a stubby bottle, but it fits, and it fits secure. I feel comfortable carrying the bottle there. But on this other side here, this 32-ounce Nalgene is not gonna fit. It's very hard. I don't even know if I can get it in there. Okay, I can get it in there, but it's extremely tight. So the two pockets aren't the same. Now I'll test a couple of more bottles just to show you, because I know people like to see different bottles to carry. I have a 26-ounce Yeti here, and it's gonna fit here, so it'll easily fit on the other side. And of course, if you're carrying an even smaller bottle, I have a 20-ounce mirror. Easy peasy, but again, it's a pretty shallow pocket, so if you have one of the longer, taller bottles, you probably could use the compression strap here and run it through to hold it, or if your bottle doesn't have a loop, you can easily go around your bottle and use the compression strap to hold a longer water bottle. So over the course of testing this bag out, I found that depending on how you configure the loadout on the inside, that it will stand up on its own. But most of my pack out configurations, the bag would want to lean forward and tip. So right now it's standing up on its own, but any little movement and it's going to come tumbling forward. So that was my experience at about 3 times out of 5 that it was going to lean forward. Again, your results may vary depending on your loadout. So right now it's actually doing pretty well with the current loadout that we have. As you can see, it's already leaning forward. So that's a feature that some people really like, when the bag can stand up on its own. But for me, this was a non-issue with this bag, because you're not really going to work out of this bag anyway. This bag is just going to be specifically for traveling. Okay, some of the things I liked and didn't like about this Tomtoc T66 travel backpack. The harness system was incredibly comfortable, but I was really curious about how comfortable this back panel and harness truly was. So I loaded up all my gear, a little under 25 pounds, and I decided to turn my morning dog walk into a morning ruck. I have my T33 Aviator with me also. That's where I keep all my dog gear, my dog treats and poopy bags and all that. And here are my girls. And I just wanted to get a sense of how truly comfortable this harness is. You test these bags in spurts. You go from your car to your gate, from your gate to your Uber to your accommodation. You're wearing them in 20-30 minute stints. But the biggest surprise of this backpack is how comfortable the harness is. And I wanted to truly put that to the test. And that's why we're out walking 3 miles this morning, rucking with the Tomtoc T66. And I wanted to get a true sense of if it's truly comfortable, not just in the spurts that I was testing in it. And I have to honestly say that this is one of the biggest surprise of this bag, is how comfortable the harness is. For something in this price range, I didn't really expect much, but this has been a pleasant surprise. Another feature that I really appreciated about this bag is its lack of organization. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why is lack of organization a feature of a backpack? So for somebody like me who uses packing cubes, pouches, tech organizers, and all these little fun, little neat things, I like to use those I keep track of my stuff, and it's like a self-organization. So for me, I don't need pockets and slots to, for every little thing, your pins and all that. I don't need all that. I'd rather use my own stuff, and having this big open cavity with the minimal pocketing was a great for me to be able to utilize all my organizational tools that I already own. So some of the things that I disliked about the bag are more like little quirks that I discovered while using the bag. And like one that I pointed out earlier was the compression straps covering the main compartment. So if you're somebody who needs to get frequent access to the main compartment, this is probably not going to be the bag for you, because it's not the way it's really designed and set up for. But if you do want to get into the main compartment while you're out traveling, you will have to loosen the compression strap so you can get the zippers past. Now you can work the zippers underneath, but it's just easier to unbuckle. It's just a little quirk about the bag that could be annoying for some. Now, one thing that I did find kind of annoying was these dangly zipper pullers. They're kind of long and they have a little piece of plastic at the end. But the reason I find them kind of a little bit of annoying is that when you're, say you open up the quick access pocket to take out, let's just say your cell phone and passport, and depending if your bag moves, these zipper pullers from the main compartment could easily fall into the quick access compartment. And when you can just zip in, when you close that zipper, you just zip them right up. So when you're trying to open up the other compartment, they're stuck within the other zipper, and vice versa too. So when you're opening this tech compartment, the quick access pocket zipper puller could easily fall into the track of the tech compartment, and then you can zip that right up. So when you're trying to access your, quick items like your cell phone and passport, it's just the zippers are all hung up. So that was just a little nitpick that I discovered. And that's me, because I like to keep all my zippers up at the top. If you keep your zippers off to the side, it's probably going to be a non-issue. But for security reasons, I like to keep everything up top so I can feel if anybody's trying to open them, or, it's just a personal preference for me. But it was one little quirk that I noticed right off the bat. And lastly, like I pointed out with the sternum strap, I had to max this out for it to fit me. So I've never dealt with that on another backpack before. So just buyer beware that this strap is non-removable, which I don't see why Tomtoc chose to go that route, because this is something you can easily swap this hardware out to make it, removable. But if this strap doesn't work for you, then it's completely obsolete and you can't change it out unless you take a little grinder to it and chop it off, which is a possibility, but you shouldn't have to modify your own bag when they make hardware that makes this easily be removable. Now, who this travel backpack is for, it's going to be for somebody looking for a backpack to get them from point A to point B and last more than one trip. So for me, this is still like a budget backpack. The materials are fine. They're going to hold up well. But like I said, I've used backpacks 5 times this price, and there's a clear difference in those backpacks. But for something in the $70 range, this is going to last you quite a bit of trips. For me, this is a step up from some of your more like Amazon basic travel backpacks. This is going to be a step up from those for sure. If you require a lot of organization, this backpack's probably not for you, as it's really minimal in its pocketing and organization. It's going to be more reliant on you to provide your own packing cubes and pouches to keep your stuff organized. So if if admin panels, where a spot to put all your tech and your pens and all that stuff is necessary for you, you're not going to get anything like remotely close to that on this backpack here. It's going to be up to you to organize your own stuff. And since it's a carry-on and it lacks a lot of organization, this backpack is going to be very well paired with, a sling. Tomtoc offers a variety of slings, and I have myself the Explorer 4-liter, and this is the Aviator 1.5-liter. So for me, this is going to be the perfect backpack for that 1.5 travel. Can you one bag it with this? For sure. You can fit a lot of stuff in there. You can carry all your stuff in there. But just to have a little bit of organization for my personal items, I would love to pair this with a sling, a bigger sling. So this is going to be your carry-on. You can throw that up in the bin, and this will be your personal item. So I would lean more towards a bigger sling than a little sling. And I saw that Tomtoc does offer like combo packages on Amazon where you can buy the two and you can still get like the backpack and a sling for like under $100, which is insane. So what do you guys think of this Tomtoc T66 travel backpack? Do you believe all the ratings on Amazon? I was like, my expectations weren't that high, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I was actually pretty surprised about this bag. This bag can be easily picked up and to grab and go for a weekend trip. It can easily be a 1-bag trip if you're headed off to another country. If you made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you, and please consider liking and subscribing and help me build my channel, and it motivates me to keep making these review videos with some awesome gear for you guys. And if you want to purchase this bag, there's a link in the description. Now that's not an affiliate link. I don't receive any kickback, so purchase at your own discretion. That link takes you directly to Amazon so you can buy it. I would like for you to be part of the conversation. If you own this bag or you're considering picking up this bag, please leave me a comment. If you have any more questions or you want me to test something specifically, if it fits, or any more questions about the bag, please comment. Feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I cannot wait to see you on my next review video.